So welcome to the new string syllabus 2025. This was released in June and it has been around now for almost 4 months. There's not a lot of changes, but still it is a new syllabus and we thought it's necessary that we meet with the strings teachers and update them and maybe remind them of what is there and what is not there. So today with me on the team, I have Priya Chaturvedi, and Priya is our senior academic consultant. We have Gopal also from Kochi, and we have Anubrat from Delhi and Faith from Bangalore. I'm going to invite Priya first to take us through the first part of our meeting, webinar, whatever we may call it. And I'll hand over to Priya now.
Thank you, Anjali. Good afternoon, everyone. And can I be heard? Am I audible, Anjali?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Not audible?
Not very much.
No, it's pretty clear here. Maybe
That's
you
clear for
turn
me
your
also.
volume up, your device volume.
It's up.
No, not you, Priya. The person who's saying no.
Okay, right. Okay, so presuming that everyone else can hear, once again, a very good afternoon. As you can see in this refreshed and expanded syllabus 2025, most of the essentials have been retained, like the instruments from initial to grade 8, the violin, the Scottish traditional fiddle, which is an instrument I will be talking about later when we come to the pieces, the viola, cello, double bass, and harp, both the pedal harp and the lever harp. Now, this is a repertoire which is really always valid. And today we are going to be talking about the violin exam pieces. And these will continue, please do note that they will continue to remain valid indefinitely. The repertoire list will be reviewed. They will be refreshed. That means they will be added to, but they will not be changed. Nothing will be removed. So do keep that in mind and continue working on the pieces that you have chosen. Next slide, please. Now we have a print and digital. It's a refreshed format, a very useful document for you to have with you as a kind of ready reckoner. As you can see on the right side, all the pieces are given, where they are available, the names, the composer, and you can have a look through it and and decide what you want to do. So both of these, and this is the latest syllabus, and it is. I would really urge you to download it, keep it, print it, or keep it on your device, and refer to it if you need to.
If I can just add to that, Priya, now this new syllabus, new format of syllabus does not contain the repertoire. As you can see, it contains the requirements for the digital as well as the face-to-face exams. It also has the technical work in it, but the repertoire list is available on the website to download as per these instruments, or you can download all of them, whatever your requirement is. So you get that separately, not in the syllabus.
So in the syllabus, just to avoid a confusion, as Anjali said, that word repertoire must be understood in this context. It is a repertoire list. It is not the pieces which have to be, of course, purchased. Yes. Yeah, coming to books and audio, you can literally, as you can see, surf the ocean of the violin there on that surfboard. So both the print and digital formats of the books are available, as well as support preparation for face-to-face and the digital exam. So the books have got 12 new pieces per grade in this syllabus. There are also, again, very useful downloadable audio and really useful performance notes. They are detailed. They give you the context, the style, and all that you really need to know before choosing and starting on the pieces. Now, what is not changing? A lot is not changing. There's the overall exam structure, and the mark scheme, that's exactly the same as it was. The supporting tests for the face-to-face exams, as you know, that's sight reading, oral, improvisation, musical knowledge up to grade 5. The HARP studies and exercises from the 2013 syllabus is still valid. The technical work for all the board strings, what does that mean? Technical work means the bowing exercises, the scales, the arpeggios, exercises, studies, and orchestral extracts from a certain grade onwards remain, and the sounded sight for sight reading all remain valid. So please keep that in mind, that all your technical work as well as your studies and your supporting tests and the marking scheme is the same. Nothing has changed, and I am going to hand over now to our academic team member Anuvrat, who will take you through the repertoire as well as some of the pieces we have chosen from the brand new syllabus. Anuvrat, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. So the repertoire for the 2025 syllabus is similar, but there is an expansion that has happened on the previous repertoire. So it has expanded to incorporate a lot of new film music. Like you can see from these images, also a lot of pop music. When we've got very young kids, when they watch Disney movies. So for very young kids, this is a good initiative because the kids can actually create those images, have an idea about how to interpret that piece of music, which is harder to do for new musicians when there are pieces which are titled like either a sonatina or an exercise. So all of these film scores make it easier and more accessible when kids have watched the movies. So moving on to the next slide. These requirements for the exam are the same. There's not much that has changed here. Initial to grade 3, there is one point I would like to highlight, which is that when choosing the three pieces, there is an option to choose a duet, and only one of the three pieces can be a duet. You cannot choose more than one piece as a duet. And when there are accompanied pieces must have accompaniments either with a teacher, or the accompaniment must be there in the exam. The rest of it remains unchanged, and everyone has the syllabus. It's also there on the Trinity website. So for any confusions, it's always a good idea to keep referring to that. Moving on to performance and interpretation. So all the pieces have to be prepared in full unless otherwise stated, like for example, with repeats. If there are larger repeats, those are very often used. If the repeats is only a few bars, 4 bars or less, then you have to play the repeats. But longer repeats, if it says, then we have to do it. Da capo, dal, segno are two musical signs that are written very clearly by the composers, and those two must be observed. And from grade 5 onwards, board string candidates are expected to use vibrato where appropriate and when needed. So vibrato is expected from grade 5 onwards. Grade 6 onwards, there is also an expectation for the use of ornamentation when needed. For instance, in Baroque pieces, in very early classical pieces, or even pre-Baroque pieces, if there is any ornamentation that is maybe not marked in the score, but it is stylistically appropriate, it is a good idea and it is encouraged to have those ornamentations. All tempo performance markings must be observed. And what we can see from the rest of it is also all of these points are there in the syllabus. If there is any confusion, it's always a good idea, as Priya ma'am said, to have the syllabus downloaded or printed out, ready to access either on your device or as a printout. Performance from memory is not a must, but if the candidates feel comfortable, they can choose to do that. Now with duets, no, that's fine, ma'am. With duets, as I mentioned briefly earlier, in grades initial to grade 3, if a duet is chosen, it cannot be performed as a solo piece. It has to be played with the second part, and only one duet can be chosen up to grade 3. We cannot, if there are multiple options also, a student cannot pick two duets for the exam. So, as Priya ma'am was saying, this is the beginning of the new expanded repertoire. So, we have chosen some examples from grades 1 to 5, 6, and 8. And starting with this grade 1 piece titled Shotgun, it's by George Ezra. George Ezra is the original songwriter for this, and it's been arranged by Ellie Wyatt for this Trinity exam. It's from the contemporary pop music genre. And before I begin talking about this, I think we can begin with listening to this. I think it's about 60 seconds.
We do have
Shivaji sir,
somebody who
requesting you
is
to please
unmuted.
mute yourself.
Shivaji, could you please mute yourself and turn your video off, please?
Thank you. So this piece, when George Ezra was traveling around Barcelona, there's a lot. I think this is one of the good things with, or one of the more not good, I would say more accessible things with pop music, with film music, that there is a music video to this. And when kids or students would watch the music video, there's a lot that's happening in the background which has indications of Ezra's time in Barcelona. And this entire song, Ezra himself described as having feel good vibes. And just like a lot of pop songs, there is a four chord structure to this, which is moving from the tonic to the subdominant to the dominant and the relative minor. And this kind of anticipatory, this four chord structure is also there in a lot of other songs from grades 1 to wherever these arrangements are. There is this energetic marking, and the tempo is quite an upbeat tempo, which requires a dynamic contrast from mezzo forte all the way to a piano in the middle section. And there is a very strict rhythm that is being followed. So even the students are, this song requires them to keep a steady bow. As you could hear from the audio also, and as we can see from bar 3, there is that on the third beat, it does not begin on the third beat, but on the second half of the third beat. So those are crucial entry points, which from a very early grade 1 level, students need to be careful of. And as we see the song develop towards the end of the song, the contrast between the piano and the violin part, the syncopation, the rhythmic complexity increases. This is another thing which requires the students to keep a very steady rhythm, a very steady bow, so that that syncopation does not, and that synchronization between the accompaniment and the violin does not go out of place. Moving on, moving on to the grade 2 piece, which is this piece called Mandela by Omar Puente. This has been arranged for Trinity by Ilario Ferrari, and Pieces like these help the students also learn about what Afro music is, what gentle Afro music is. Is there a jazz influence on this? So Umar Puente, who was a Cuban jazz violinist, has gone back to the African roots, and there is a lot of rhythmic complexity in the piano part, and the demands in the violin part are actually with the long notes, which are marked piano espressivo, and there is a very defined phrase ending to all of the longer phrases. And we can't display the whole score here, but once you get the books, once the students and teachers they see the books, that is one thing where a steady bow, a good control is required. Again, this is a grade 2 piece, so vibrato is not expected. But if the students do it and if it is stylistically done well, uh, it will be appreciated, and it's a good idea to add it if the student can manage it at this earlier stage. Now, C sharp to C natural is a movement with the second finger that needs to be paid special attention to. In the later part of this piece, there is not extreme, but demands from the dynamics also to manage that decrescendo, which is a slightly difficult technique. And this is one thing which we thought it was a good idea to highlight for this piece. Now, just like the movie, this one, before I could even say a word about which grade or what piece it is, I think we can start with just listening to this. Everyone already knows this tune. Deval, I think we can stop here. Thank you. I mean, from grade 5 onwards, the pieces get longer. So just in everyone's interest of time. Now, there are a lot. George Ezra was a song, and this is also from a film. There are a lot of film songs also in this syllabus, but this is a film music soundtrack, which is a slightly different genre to film songs. These do not have any words, but there is a very clear that suspense that is inbuilt in the music and in this arrangement also. So as we can see very clearly, and right from this beginning of bar 7, there is that con vibrato written. So if anyone missed the brief, that vibrato is sort of expected and appreciated from grade 5 onwards. The arrangements have been done, and Trinity has made it clear that from grade 5 onwards, vibrato is expected, it is needed in certain pieces. um, we could hear from this little extract that we heard also that there are a lot of glissandos. Towards the point where Anjali ma'am stopped, there was a long descending glissando, which will require a fair amount of control and practice. There are quite emphatic bow strokes to get the accents of pom, 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 to get all of those properly with the emphasis. There needs to be confident, emphatic bow strokes, glissandos, and tremolos also. The tremolo right in the beginning is something that needs to be practiced quite often with the accompaniment, or either with the recording or with whoever is accompanying, so that the ending flourish on the piano and the ending of that trill is actually coordinated, and that forte in bar 3, both the piano part and the violin parts, they arrive together. That leads to a very good confident sounding and a very emphatic introduction and opening of this piece. One new technique at this stage would be the tremolo with ponticello. Ponticello is where you repeat a note rapidly while playing near the bridge, which creates a tremulous, glassy, and metallic sound. So wherever there are these long trills, which is gearing towards a crescendo, that ponticello and tremolo is a good idea to pay attention to work on that technique so that the proper sound can be produced. For grade 6 onwards pieces, I will hand over to Priya ma'am.
Thank you, Anuvrat. So we'll take it on to grade 6, and this is a piece, of course you can play it on the violin, but it is actually written for the Scottish fiddle. And teachers have asked us, why is it called a Scottish fiddle if it's not a different instrument? The difference is in the stylistic elements, not in the physical structure of the instrument, which is exactly like the violin, but the style is very different. So we have chosen this from the 2025 syllabus. It is Scottish dance music. Now, the style difference is that, we know that the violin music that's written for the violin, whether it's modern or whether it's from the Baroque or classical periods, is basically instrumental music for the instrument. But the Scottish fiddle has music that is written to be danced to or to be sung to. So there has to be some very clear rhythm. It has to be very energetic, very rhythmic. Phrasing has to be very, very clear cut. So these, the air, the stratosphere, and the reel, they are three different styles of Scottish music, and they have to be performed in this case without a break. And they all have different timings. So let's listen to as much as we can. I suggest that we hear up to the beginning of the third piece, and then we can talk a little bit about it. Coming to the next piece. Okay, so this one, let's talk about it a little bit. The yellow-haired laddie is an air. An air is actually, it means something that is melodious, with a very, very clear, definite melody. And it is a dance, and it is in triple time. It is a leisurely triple time, so it shouldn't be played too fast. And of course, there are staccato semi-quaver figures. So despite the slower tempo, must be played with a lot of attention to the articulation. And of course, the decorations, as you heard, the acciacculturas, the crushed notes, require a very, very steady and controlled bow to get the right effects. Let's hear the next piece, which is do we have the next piece? Now, in this piece, the wrist plays a very important part. This is a Strathspey dance, a style of Scottish dancing. We are moved from 3/4 to 4/4, and the rhythm is really quite demanding. The typical bowing for a Strathspey dance has got particular techniques to it. I think the most outstanding technique here is the Scotch snap, which you might have heard of, which is actually the rhythm is it's a short note followed by a long note. And to do that and to execute it well, the wrist action is very important. You need a very sharp down bow on the short note, and then you have a very relaxed wrist to be able to turn and get a quick and a very seamless kind of direction change into an up bow for the longer note. That's right. And so after Strathspey, we have the final, which is a reel, another dance, which we can listen to. Great ending to that very energetic dance. A reel is very energetic. And you will note that in the Scottish fiddle, the style of playing, very often you will encounter the bow strokes which are not slurred, are always separate bow strokes. So do observe all the bowing directions that have been given in this piece to get that style right. So it's now we move from 4/4 into a simple duple time, 2/4, and of course the tempo is faster. Dynamics here are very important because they are many, they are very varied, and we have a lot of decorations, a lot of embellishments. There are some slurred pairs which have to be again brought out clearly. And if you know the ending, which I think we all enjoyed, it is a fortissimo, it is a flourish, and it is executed over the tremolos in the accompanying instrument, the piano. So for all these to come out and really, really emphasize on the stylistic element, the rhythm and the pulse for the violinist must be very accurate. Let's move on to our grade 8 piece, Rendezvous à Paris. It is by a Scottish composer contemporary, Stephen Wood, and he was actually inspired by the great legendary jazz violinist Stefan Grappelli, who worked with Django Reinhardt. There are any drummers here, you might have heard of some of his pieces. So let's listen to this first. Right. So there are many sections to this piece. It's very complex, as you can imagine, very suitable for grade 8. So all the Grappelli styles, I mean, this is a homage to him, are very evident here. First one is, of course, the gypsy jazz and the big band swing. Big band swing was, one of the early jazz genres. And there's a lot of expressive use of certain ornaments and of pitch bends. In the opening, you have rubato. Understanding rubato, which, as you know, is the dropped time where you take one part into another without losing the pulse. Can we, Mahit, could I ask you to mute your video? Thank you. So the big band swing, there's the pitch bends, and now the rubato. Be very careful and understand what a rubato is. Listen to some rubato styles. It is a slow and dreamy one in this case, and it requires a very good understanding of the use of that tempo. The pulse must remain the same, but the rhythm changes. Now, in dramatic contrast, we have a gypsy jazz, which is quite bold, and there is a very nice, expressive glissando right in the beginning. And the following measures are taking the hot club, which was really after the big band, is the hot club groove. And so there's a lot of staccato here, a lot of tremolo, and there is an emphasis on beat 2 and 4. So do not always emphasize the strong beat. You're expected to understand what a hot club groove is. And for this piece, more than above all, and in a lot of the grade 8 pieces, actually, I would suggest that you listen to some of this music, some of the violin, jazz music written for the violin, some of Grappelli's compositions, and some of the jazz genres, so that the performer can incorporate these very well into this piece. So, like from bar 47, notice, follow the instructions as well, of course. So, from bar 47, the violin has got a light touch. The big band is very, very there, but this is the violin that is above it. There is a fermata, a pause. The music goes into a lower tempo, a slower one, and then it moves into a cadenza, those little notes that you see there. Now, cadenza is really something that it's really very open traditionally to a lot of creative interpretation. And the words ad lib, ad libitum, at your liberty, say it all. So, though this cadenza, as you can hear, and if you hear it in a recording, you will find, or if you go through the work, it's a fairly slow one. It's but you can decide your tempo. But be creative here. It culminates in a trill, and that trill is played with great precision. This piece has got a pianissimo ending, and it ends with a kind of modal feel from A to an E natural, even though the E flat is there throughout the piece. Right. So moving on now to very quick look at our face-to-face exams. Now, what do we have by way of accompaniment? We have accompaniment or backing track is allowed only up to and including grade 3. Examiners, please note, will not operate the playback equipment. Can be handled by the candidate. Candidate feels that they feel more confident with a teacher or another person not related to the candidate. Can be done, but the person must leave the room after setting up. Other than for duets, accompaniments on instruments other than piano has to be approved in advance by Trinity. We have normally it is always a piano accompaniment, but any other instrument used must be approved, and it must have the reason of being musically appropriate, going with the music. Now we move on to the digital exams. Now, what do we have for accompaniment here? Here, unlike in the face-to-face, where recorded accompaniment is only up to grade 3, it is all the way up to grade 8. Candidates can have help in operating the equipment here, especially in the more complex advanced grade pieces. You would be needing that so that the performance is not disrupted or does not get a beginning that is shaky in any way. And also performing levels should be checked by the candidate before the recording starts to ensure that there's a correct balance. The instrument should not drown out the accompaniment and vice versa. So the balance should be just right, and that must be checked. Shouldn't be checked while you're doing your final recording. That's the accompaniment. And now for the technical work, I'm going to hand over to our academic team member, Faith.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. We have heard such lovely pieces, and I, as a violin teacher myself, I'm so inspired. Actually, I have tried out a few pieces with my children, and they are over the moon about it. So I'm really glad that we can say we're modernizing the syllabus a little, and I'm very happy to see that. But I'm coming down to technical work since we've listened to all these very interesting pieces. And technical work, something I don't think there's much changes. It's something that we're very familiar with. Of course, we have the repertoire and we have the technical pathway. I'm talking only about the technical pathway. The repertoire are your 4 pieces. In technical work, nothing much. We start with our usual bowing exercise. We move on to the required scales, followed by the arpeggios at all our grades, end with our technical exercises. Usually we have double stops, octaves, sixths and thirds, and then we move on to studies. If we want to do studies, after grade 5, we touch on orchestral extracts. Now, coming back to our technical work and what is new in the syllabus for now is we usually use a scale for our bowing exercise. Now we have an either or, we have an option to use the arpeggios that are required for that particular grade. So for, say, in example for grade 1, you have 2 crotchet bows on every degree of the scale, which it used to be. Now we can use the arpeggio and do your 2 crotchet bows on the arpeggio. In grade 8, in initial, we do not have bowing exercise. All of us will be very familiar with that. In grade 8, we use the bowing, we prepare our bowing exercise from grade 5, 6, and 7. Face-to-face exam, technical work, you got to prepare the whole requirement, your examiners ready
Faith,
to
I
ask.
think you mentioned this. This is all done. You
Okay,
just talked about this part of it, the
right,
bowing
ma'am.
exercise and the scales and also
Yes.
the
So you
study.
prepare the whole technical work as
Yeah.
one bundle. In your digital exams, you have 2 choices, and it kind of mimics the examiner asking you. So you prepare that much and then you play. Just a reminder to tell you that your scales can be your technical work can be in the beginning, at the end, or somewhere in the middle, as long as you play it as one cohesive part of your exam. Yes, ma'am, we can move on. I think this is just what I covered again. It's all, you have your requirements that are provided on the website. Please do download, keep it as something that you can run to quickly and you can give it a look up. There's also a book available with your scales actually written down, which is amazing for us teachers to have. We'll move on to supporting tests. I'm looking at the supporting tests for your face-to-face exams. A supporting test for 20 marks. You get to choose out of 4. For those of us who have done only digital and we're looking at face-to-face, you have 20 marks, 4 tests. Choose any 2. You have sight reading, very simple. You're given a small bit of music. Your candidate has been given a small bit of music. They have 30 seconds to prepare. And at this time, they can play the piece, they can sing it, hum it, stamp, go with the rhythm, whatever it takes for them to perform the piece after 30 seconds. The examiner will be kind enough to tell you when to start. Then you have your oral. Here, there's a single musical example that will be played over and over. According to your grade, according to the candidate's grade, they're going to have questions that are going to be asked till grade 5. So questions could be asked on dynamics, on articulation, texture of the music, how they feel about it, style, etc. You have your orals only till grade 5. Then we move on to improvisation. Improvisation, something that we violin teachers
Sorry,
can
Faith,
really.
one moment. Orals are not only till grade 5. Orals are till grade 8. Musical
Sight reading
knowledge
is till grade 5. I'm sorry,
musical
correction.
knowledge, dear.
Yes.
Musical
A
knowledge.
musical knowledge till grade 5. Please forgive my mistake. We're moving on.
Excitement.
Tension more so, ma'am. I have the grades sitting here in front of me. Thank you all for your patience. We're moving on to improvisation, and I actually did give it a look up. It's a lovely little thing that we can encourage our children to do, especially in the lower grades where you have a stylistic, motivic, and harmonic. Now, the easiest by far, what I have noticed, is using the harmonic stimulation, where you have a little chord progression that plays, and then you play. Once you hear that, you kind of put in a melody on top of that. It's very simple way of putting it out there. You have your stylistic stimulation, where you can improvise on a march style or a lullaby style, or a dance, something like that, according to your grade again. And you have your motivic stimulation, where improvisation, where they give you a little motif or a little piece of music, and you continue on and end it in this using little styles from that little motivic stimulus that you get. I know it's something that a lot of us teachers are, it's kind of like giving our students something to do extra, and maybe we could look at it and try it out. I'm going to try it definitely. So then we go to musical knowledge. Again, a very simple thing, something that we've been doing in every class. This encourages learners to remember to read, to remember what they read and what it means. Examiners ask according to your grades, questions according to the grades, the student answers. Do remember to keep the little booklet that we get free from any markings that we have put. Erase it all out, keep it clear. And usually we prepare 3 pieces. One the student chooses to be asked questions from, and from among the other 2 pieces, the examiner chooses 1 piece and asks questions grade wise, depending on the grade. So I'm closing with, that's probably it. No more changes with the technical work. I'm going to hand over to Priya ma'am now for overall performance for the digital exams.
Thank you, Faith. Yes, overall performance, I'm sure by now you're all familiar. This is something that is given in the digital platform instead of the supporting tests, which are there in the face-to-face. And please remember, but they have the same purpose of assessing the broader musical skills as the supporting tests do in the face-to-face. Now, they are divided, there's 20 marks as the face-to-face, the same number of marks are given, divided into 10 and 10. The first part is the performance, delivery, and focus. What does focus mean? It means a consistency of your skills shown throughout the piece and the pieces that you're playing. There's to be a certain confidence, a secure knowledge of both the technique and the style has to be shown. There's a confidence, and there are many other things in the performance delivery. There's a stage presence. There is a certain way, even the tuning, holding the instrument, your posture at the instruments, your confident, quick, fluent page turns, not fumbling them, not looking for them. And of course, your attire, though Trinity does not have a dress code. I will emphasize that we do not have a dress code for the examination. You yourself would know and advise your students that when you're going for an exam, it is a performance. More than an exam, it is a stage performance. And they would dress and should dress the way they would for a performance. Musical awareness, 10 marks. Of course, that has to display a kind of sound musical knowledge. That means decoding the script and the composer's or the editor's instructions, the different styles. Vasant, you have genres. I mean, you have 3 pieces with 3 different genres. Be able to move smoothly between them. Don't have a little bit left over from one going into the other. And that shows a good musical knowledge. And realize all the performance directions that I just told you. There must be a personal engagement, and that should be made clear to the listener. In this case, the examiner must be made clear to the listener that I know what I'm doing. This is my creative spirit that's moving while I'm following the directions. So these 2 add up to the overall performance marking.
Thank you, Priya. Thank you very much for this to all the presenters. So we come to the end of this webinar. I hope that you have found it useful. Here are some email IDs if you want to contact any of us. All the presenters today are on this slide. And just to tell you that this recording will be available and we will be putting it on our website and sharing the link with you. It just takes a little time for editing. So it might take maybe a week before we can get it onto the website. So thank you very much, everyone, for attending and for choosing Trinity exams.
Anjali
Thank
ma'am,
you.
one small question before we wrap
Yes,
up.
now we'll
Shankar
just
ji,
open, just 1 minute. So
yeah.
we'll open for questions now. Please go ahead and put anything in the chat box, or if you would like to speak it.
Yeah, I just wanted to check if the old syllabus pieces are also there as an option, because I
Yes,
can
we
see
did
the drop
mention
down.
that in the beginning. We
I missed it.
mentioned that nothing is going away. All your old syllabus pieces will be available in case something is withdrawn due to copyright and territory rulings. You will have to just check when you choose your pieces, check through the repertoire that is given for the grade that the pieces you have chosen are there. Otherwise, you can
Okay,
use
that's
all
okay.
the pieces.
Do we have anything else in the chat box?
I don't think so. Any
No
questions now?
questions. Ma'am, I
Yes,
have a question.
yes, Stephen.
The previous old book, we have a section A and section B, no? That has to be followed now, or
All that
we can.
remains the same. There is no change. From grade 6 onwards, you have to choose a group. Till
No,
grade,
can be played a few songs from the old book and one or two from the new song, is new
yes, you
syllabus.
can mix and match whatever you want.
But should we maintain the same section A and section B?
Yes, yes,
yes,
definitely. From grade
definitely.
until then, it's free. Stephen, after from grade 6, 7, and 8, you have to choose 2 pieces from one section and 1 piece from the other.
Okay.
And if you're doing the repertoire only pathway in the digital exams, where you need to choose 4 pieces, then 1 from A, 1 from B, and the other 2 can be from either of the groups.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes.
Aaron here.
Yes, Aaron.
I see that the syllabus is designed multi-genre.
Yes.
What about students who are willing or want to do more classical?
There
How do
is
we
enough
address
choice.
it?
There is enough
Not within the
choice.
Trinity book.
Yes, within the Trinity book also. We have highlighted pieces which are new, which new genres have come. So we have tried to highlight that. But everything else that used to be there before is also there now.
Okay.
Every genre is available, enough choice. There are now about 40 pieces that you can choose from.
This is from the syllabus, but not from the
Yes.
Trinity published book.
Yes, from the Trinity published book, if you combine both the syllabuses, the old one and the new one.
Oh, it's about 40. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Enough choice.
Okay.
So Richard has something to say. Bowing exercise. Just have a look, Faith, please.
Yes, ma'am. Bowing exercise. Yes, you can follow it for the November face-to-face exam. Yes.
Yes, that can be followed.
Immediately applied.
This new syllabus book, the song is when you take a printout, the first page is in the right side. Most of the songs we have to do the turning. It's purposely it's done, or we can
No, I
arrange
don't
it.
think it is like that.
Not like, no. Why is it
Are
on
you
the
talking about the e-book?
Grade 4.
No, e-book or the hard copy?
The new syllabus book.
Yes, new syllabus. Are you talking about yes, this book? Correct. There are not that many page turns.
No, whenever there is a two pages song, it is on the right side and at the back. When you take a printout, it comes like that only.
No, printout meaning you have bought an ebook.
Yeah.
You bought an ebook, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's how you place the binder has to place the pieces. You have to
Okay.
tell him to place them in a particular way, no? To
You
get it
just
right.
you just have to download it. You print it out. Put your first page on the left side. Put the second page on the right side, and tape it up together, or put it, just put it on the music stand like that.
Okay. Thank you.
Choose to play. Faith,
Ma'am,
there's another
yeah.
question.
So, scales and arpeggios in digital exams, can students choose to play only separate bows or slurred? In digital exams, for every scale that is given, there is a definite request where
Direction.
if
I
it
think
should
there
be
is a
played.
direction, right?
Yeah, there is a direction saying that you need to play it either only slurred or only separate. It is there in the scales and technical workbook in the syllabus. Do check up on it.
Okay, so if there are no more questions, I think we'll wind up now. Thank you all for your time, and thank you, team, for your inputs for this webinar. We're always available for any questions. The groups are there, the teacher groups are there, as well as you have our email IDs. Thank you very much, everyone.